News. I'm Chisomo Chihana. First, the headlines. Parliament considers alternative ways of sourcing fertilizer in case suppliers insist on high prices. Farmers sound fresh alarm over some vendors buying maize below the set minimum price. And state witnesses finished testifying in a case in which Malawi Electoral Commission warehouse manager Diverson Makwete is being accused of lying under oath. We have these and other stories. Please stay with us. In our first story, Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture says it will recommend that the government empower smallholder farmers fertilizer revolving fund of Malawi, SFFRFM, and Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation, ADMAC, to source fertilizer if suppliers insist on high prices. Chairperson of the committee, Samia Suleiman, says the Fertilizer Association of Malawi is yet to report 2 weeks after the committee asked them to reconsider reducing prices. Audrey Kaparamola reports.
The association area told the committee that the country has no control over prices as it relies much on imports since there are no raw materials for the production of the commodity. Executive Administration Officer for the Fertilizer Association of Malawi, Mbawaka Piri, then said the association is at the mercy of international pricing and other costs. But Suleiman insists that some of the fertilizers come in the raw form.
Some of the fertilizer that comes into Malawi comes as raw material and it is blended here in Leondi. We expected that fertilizer to be cheaper as compared to already processed fertilizer. But we were surprised to see that even the locally blended fertilizers are costing government the same.
PD on Monday said the association has written the Ministry of Agriculture on the prices and they are waiting for a response. The price of a 50-kilogram bag of fertilizer has shot to 40,000 kwacha from around 20,000 kwacha, raising fears that the affordable import program may be affected. SFFRM Chief Executive Officer Andy Kalinde area said if government could support the fund, a 50 kg bag could cost less than 30,000 kwacha.
Farmers have sounded a fresh alarm over some vendors who continue swindling farmers in the country by buying maize below the said minimum price. According to Farmers Union of Malawi President Frighton Njolomole, the vendors are buying the commodity at as low as 50 kwacha per kilogram, which is around 2,500 kwacha for a 50-kilogram bag of maize. The association has since urged the government to assist the local farmer. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
Njolomole says the vendors are exploiting farmers that are far from the Agricultural Development Marketing Corporation ADMAC depots, where vendors sneak in even during night. He says the farmers are being duped and has since called on ADMAC to penetrate in the remote areas by setting up mobile markets to buy the commodity from the farmers. Njolomole says in some areas vendors are buying maize at as low as 50 kwacha per kg, translating to 2,500 kwacha per 50 kg bag of maize.
Or if there is any chance that the government can come in and arresting these people, we are not happy with them. They are buying at 60 kwacha kg. What is that? That's stealing.
ADMAC spokesperson Agnes Chikoko-Ndovis says the corporation planned to have 227 temporary markets this year with an aim of reaching out to areas that are far from ADMAC depots.
Apart from our own establishment, we have also planned or budgeted for 227 temporary markets. These are normally opened where our markets between two markets there's a longer distance.
So far, hundreds of vendors in the country have been arrested for buying farm produce below the farm gate prices, and that some of them have been prosecuted.
The state on Monday finished parading witnesses in a case in which Malawi Electoral Commission Make Warehouse manager Diverson Makwete is being accused of lying under oath during the 2019 presidential election court case. The Constitutional Court in 2019 ordered that Makwete be investigated for allegedly lying under oath after he told the court that Make's Central Region logbooks were locked up in Parliament warehouses, but the same materials were later found in Make warehouses. Wezi Gausi reports.
State lawyer Pirilani Masanjara says he was satisfied with the evidence tendered by the witnesses in court.
We are supposed to go and make submissions on whether the accused has a case to answer. On our part, we will be making a submission that Mr. Makwete has a case to answer in terms of Section 254 of the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Code. I'm sure that the defense will be making an opposite submission.
Defense lawyer Gilbert Kunyungwa says with the evidence tendered in court, he is sure that his client has no case to answer.
The state has not made up its case, and the next stage is that we are going to submit on whether the accused has got a case to answer or not.
Senior resident magistrate Flores Segandiana has since adjourned the case to October 22, 2021, where the court will give its ruling whether the accused has the case to answer or not.
The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has urged school learners aged 18 and above, as well as teachers and support staff, to go for COVID-19 vaccination in order to reduce the risk of developing severe illness when they contract coronavirus. Minister of Health Kombize Kandodo Chiponda, who is co-chairperson for the task force, has also urged schools in the country to continually monitor attendance to track students and staff absent. Matthews Kasanda has filed this report.
Chiponda says schools should be able to compare the current absenteeism in schools against the usual absenteeism due to respiratory diseases. She says sick students, teachers and other staff should not be going to schools, and that boarding schools should ensure that they have dedicated rooms to be used as isolation rooms in case they have suspected or confirmed COVID-19 cases. The minister said this in the COVID-19 update status statement released on Sunday this week, in which she also called for frequent cleaning and disinfection of most large surfaces and objects in schools. Meanwhile, the Teachers Union of Malawi President Willie Malimba says schools welcome the call, but says the main challenge remains the lack of personal protective equipment.
So I welcome this message. But the problem we have is that we don't have PPEs, protective equipment. So it's very difficult for teachers to implement this.
Over 2,200 people have died in the country due to COVID-19 since the first case was recorded in April last year.
11 people have been arrested for invading and damaging property at Sayama Tea Factory in Mulanje district. According to police, villagers invaded factory premises following the death of a 46-year-old man who allegedly died after being assaulted by factory's guards. Thomas Kajeri has more in this report.
Mulanje Police Public Relations Officer Gresham Ngwira says 11 people have so far been arrested following a scuffle that occurred at Sayama Tea Factory, a subsidiary of Lugeri Tea Company in the district. He says the fracas happened when the villagers around the area wanted to revenge the death of one of their own who had died after being assaulted by the company's guards.
It is alleged that on Sunday last week, some security guards for the tea company assaulted a man aged about 46 years. And then when he was taken to the hospital, he unfortunately died. This angered some people who started looting some property at the campus. So our presence was to intervene to control the situation, whereby we managed to arrest 11 of the suspects.
Ngwira says the suspects stand 3 charges of arson, malicious damage and theft. He also said that the company's guards who assaulted Dinara Chiponde have not been arrested. Ngwira has however indicated that more arrests are expected as investigations are going on.
Malawi Bureau of Standards has urged small and medium enterprises to meet quality standards. MBS Regional Officer Richard Kubalo was speaking on Monday during an opening of the MS21 and MS19 training, which was jointly organized by Small and Medium Enterprise Development Institute in Lilongwe. Ellen Bindani has compiled this report, which Audrey Kabalamula is reading.
Kubalo stresses that it is important for small and medium enterprises to have their products and services certified for public safety.
This actually is to make sure that consumers are eating products or are accessing services that are up to standard, that cannot harm them when they consume the product or they access the services. At the same time, to make sure that whatever comes out as a product from the SMEs is actually not harmful to the environment as well.
Small and Medium Enterprises Development Institute Business Training Specialist Tapiwa Nsanja says that the small and medium enterprises should be trained to enhance public safety, at the same time to be able to compete on local and external markets.
If these SMEs get to the point where they are able to acquire all the necessary documents for them to run their businesses in the proper way, then they will also be able to compete on the international market.
Malawi Bureau of Standards is expected to train 243 participants from different SMEs throughout the country.
This is Times News, and we'll be back after this break.
We all start differently, but we can all start with the strongest protection. Because some start early, others start late. Some from little homes, others from big ones. Some start together, or all on their own.
It doesn't matter how you start, as long as you start strong. With new Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Now with fluoride plus arginine for 4 times more strengthening power. So that you can give them the strongest start to their day. Colgate. Start strong, stay strong.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate.
1, wake up. 2, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea.
Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Welcome back. The Mulako Waalome Cultural Grouping has seen a partial change to its board of trustees and the number of days for its annual festival. This was revealed during an internal meeting conducted over the weekend at Mulako Waalome headquarters at Chonde in Mulanje district. According to Mulako Waalome board chairperson Neston Muli, the changes include the removal of politicians from the board. In addition, the festival will this year take place from October 8th to 10th. Details in this report by Justin Quell.
Muli added that the preparations are going well and the festival will observe all COVID prevention measures.
You know very well that Mulako last year didn't take place. Why? Because of the pandemic, COVID-19. This year we can see that the numbers are going down, and also the issue of mask we are using now. You have seen, you witnessed yourself to say everyone who was entering here had a mask. meaning to say we are getting set and prepared so that the function should take place. This time around, the function this year, it will happen in a different way and a different style. One is that all the people who will be coming, they will be receiving masks on entrance. When they are entering, they're going to receive a mask.
The cultural festival did not take place last year due to restrictions on travel and public gathering, which the government put in place in a bid to contain the further spread of coronavirus. Traditional authority Kaduya from the Lomwe Belt said people should expect an exciting festival this year. The budget for the event has been pledged at 150 million kwacha, which will be gathered through contributions from its members and other well-wishers.
In sports news, Times Radio has announced that it will broadcast live the 2022 World Cup qualifier between Malawi national team, the Flames, and Mambas of Mozambique. The Group D match is slated for Tuesday at Orlando Stadium in South Africa. Times Radio will also cover the CAF Champions League preliminary round game between Amazulu and Nyasa Big Bullets on Friday. Isaac Salima has the details.
Malawi national football team is in South Africa in a Tuesday's Group D World Cup qualifier game against Mozambique. As usual, local fans will be keen to follow the action. However, there is no need to panic, as Malawi's leading radio station, Times Radio, will broadcast the match live, as the country's award-winning football commentator, Williams Gondwa, is already in the Rainbow Nation.
4 minutes disipere sadusa jamani masura bedewa chikao chimene chicho yamba pano pakaboso stadium mpira.
Times Group advertising manager Alfred Ganjere has since called upon companies to always come forth and partner them in such initiatives.
You are aware that Malawians love football so much, and we want to give people an opportunity to follow what's happening with their beloved team in South Africa. We'll give a minute-by-minute update through the radio and, of course, through social media, Facebook, and our website. You will know that at the moment, Times Radio is the most followed radio. The listenership is just high. So we think people need to know what's happening with their team. And the only source is Times Radio at the moment. And it's an opportunity for companies, businesses to promote their offers and services. Because this time, everyone will be glued to their radio, listening to the match.
The Flames are the home side, since they will use South Africa for their home games, as the country's stadia were declared unfit to host such games. Malawi on Friday went down 2-0 to Cameroon and will be looking forward to recover from the defeat and claim maximum points. Times Radio will also broadcast live a CAF Champions League preliminary round game between Nyasa Big Bullets and Amazulu on Friday.
And that's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines once again. Parliament considers alternative ways of sourcing fertilizer in case suppliers insist on high prices. Farmers sound fresh alarm over some vendors buying maize below the set minimum price. And state witnesses finished testifying in a case in which Malawi Electoral Commission warehouse manager Diverson Makwete is being accused of lying under oath. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. I'm Chisomo Chihana. Thank you very much for watching and have a lovely evening.